Danganronpa.
My microphone was muted! Thank you for observing that not all was well. Hi, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. Let me reiterate everything I just talked about for 2 minutes. Yeah, cool. I'm glad I played that one well. Good evening, welcome. It's Happy New Year. It's 2018. That means that means I probably should have said that yesterday in the video I made. It was my first video of the year, and the first video I've actually made in a while, which was my game of the year. Go check that out. That's the thing you can check out. Find out what the best game was that came out last year. It's finally been announced this year. Definitive, that one. My list. So that was cool. That took me way longer than I expected to make. I got home sort of mid-afternoon yesterday after New Year's Eve celebrations, and then sat and did video editing. It turned out there was a lot of video editing. Turns out I needed lots of bits of footage of games that suddenly I didn't have footage for because I don't record them anymore because I just stream them live to the internet. I was like, oh, you know how on previous years I've always had lots of footage to work with to create these end-of-year videos? This year I don't have any footage. Oh, let me just fire up Bandicam and start capturing footage of all the games I've played this year. Anyway, we have a class trial, that's the thing that's happening. We picked some skills out last time. I still have far more points to spend than I have skills available to me, which tells me I should probably have worked on more relationships, but I've done as much as I could. I think we are ready to go, really. Let us proceed! Let us proceed.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
Who is this for the benefit of, by the way? He does this every time. It's like, do we not know how the class trial works yet? Also, Makoto's got a really sort of bloody dripping kind of X through his face. Oh, and Gundam's got a big, like, gothic kind of X, which is hilarious. I love it. Oh, everyone's got their own stylized thing. Although I don't know why... Normally it's the killers that get those. I don't know why Makoto would have his own stylized thing, unless that is already the implication that Makoto was his own killer. Makoto tortured himself to death. That seems plausible, right? Yeah, like normally the victims just get like, they've drawn through it. The killers get stylized things, and yeah, Makoto's a weird drippy one. Ooh. It's an X-Files X. Which one? Makoto? Or Gundam. But okay, yeah, I can kind of see what you... I think I see what you mean. I may just have to Google X-Files, just to remind myself what the actual logo looks like. X for nah, it's more of a typewriter-y kind of X though, isn't it? It's not really drippy. It's kind of got that blobby sort of Rorschach test kind of ambience going on, I guess, but it's not really drippy. Look, Makoto and Nagato are the same guy. I'm maintaining that. Like, I will use those names interchangeably. Makoto and I don't. If there's any actual spoilers in that regard, I don't want to know them. But like, I am still like 99.9% convinced that Nagato is Makoto. Anyway, whodunit. That's what we're being told. We're being told how to whodunit, because we've never done this before.
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh my, Monami? My cute little sister? You're awfully quiet. What's happened to you?
Ooh, just an aside while we're here. Am I a little bit quiet? I think I tweaked my microphone settings the other day, and I think I might be a little quieter than I normally am. Let me just have a quick look. Because I recorded differently for the video I made, and that required me to tweak settings, and yeah, I'm a little quieter than I would have otherwise been. Okay, that might be a bit better. I'll just turn it down just a touch. Okay, yeah, I didn't think you wouldn't be able to hear me, but I thought I would just be like, I would be relatively quiet compared to normal, was kind of what I was concerned about. But anyway, yeah, thanks.
You've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the moon? Because you're a rabbit? Chesto! One more time! Jeez! How about this one? This will be my final blow!
Are we using the cutscenes? We saw this one before.
It's useless.
Please stop! I feel bad for Monomi.
You're right. Now's not the time for me to horse around with Monami. The class trial has started, after all. The victim this time is Nagito, who was attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake. Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
If he was killed for trying to reveal the traitor, that traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
No, that might not be it.
No, they might have murdered him just because he was so annoying.
Huh?
That seems
Are you
reasonable.
trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger. Wait. Don't tell me you're the traitor.
Don't say something so stupid. There's no way in hell I'm the traitor.
Dude's totally the traitor.
Now that's more like it. Why don't you guys hurry and start arguing already?
It does occur to me that I did not actually get my notepad out and take notes last time around. I guess that's what happens when I, like, try to record too much at once or stream too much at once, because I, like... Normally there's the, this is the investigation bit, and I will sit down with a notebook and be like, right, today is an investigation. So, because last time was not, I'm going to sit down and do an investigation. I forgot to investigate properly. I don't have a notes. So I don't know what happened. Nagito... Something Nagato died. Fire happened. Rope spears. Things. Fire. Lots of death. Lots of blood. Some torture. Something like that. The traitor and the killer who murdered Nagato is here, right? Are they the same person? Or... Womp womp womp. Oh yeah, and another weirdo Monokuma plushie as well, which probably isn't relevant here, but it's a weird one.
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first!
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
He is Yakuza. They got a history going on there with the whole knives and stabbing and things. Why did the killer have to torture Nagito? No, were the wounds on Nagito's body really caused by torture in the first place? I mean...
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
Is that right? No. The implication here is that we sort of look... It sounds like they're trying to argue against him being tortured. Right? Or is there someone I need to agree with here?
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up.
Been a while
I'm
since I've
telling
done
you,
a
they
trial.
were torturing him.
Christmas and things happened.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place.
Would torture wound? No. Torture wounds don't agree with that. I need to go over some details. Torture wounds. Both Nagito's legs were tied with rope. Each rope was tied to nearby pillars, preventing him from moving. His thighs were covered with a lot of stab wounds, which we assumed came from the knife, right? This one, which was also one of my things. Survival knife stabbed into his right hand. Knife is from the military base. Safe to assume that wounds on Nagito's legs and arm were caused by this knife. Okay. Monokuma plushie is... I don't know, what the heck is the deal with this? A huge bloody hole in its stomach as if he was stabbed. Kind of would imply that it was like on top of him or under him when the spear stabbed him. But then the spear didn't go like all the way through him, did it? So... I don't know. It's like there was only blood on the top of it as well. I'm not sure that's relevant right now. What else do I have
Is
to work with
whoever
here?
found the bomb first?
Monokuma panels, oil lighter.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
What was Monokuma's account of this? What did Monokuma tell us? Oh yeah, there's also the poison going on. Were the wounds really caused by torture in the first place? I mean... yes? Why is the implication here that they weren't? Literally up to now it's been like, oh, he's been tortured. Oh my god, he's been tortured. How could anyone torture him? What about all this torture? Torture, 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 torture. All of a sudden it's like, no, actually, you know what? I don't think it is torture. Hang on. Why was this concern not voiced a little bit earlier?
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
I mean... did they?
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find
Also,
out
I
by
don't see how any of
torturing
these
him?
disproves it. The survival knife does not disprove torture. Bah! How am I struggling on the first thing of the friggin' trial?
Definitely the bomb's hiding place.
I mean, that seems like a good one.
So, the suspect is whoever...
Both of Nagito's legs were tied with rope. Each rope was tied to nearby pillars, preventing him moving. His thighs were covered with a lot of stab wounds. Would that be to find the bombs? I mean... that seems like that might be right, but then I'm not sure which of the things agrees with it more so. Try the survival knife with that.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
The killer didn't
Take the
take
survival
Nagi.
knife.
I'm
Let's
telling
try
you, they
and
were
agree
torturing
with
him.
Sonya.
The reason Nagito's
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was. What were they trying to find out by Definitely the bomb's hiding place.
No. Whoever tortured Nagito did not know the bomb was fake. That means I'm not.
Damn it! The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up.
What?
I'm telling
am I doing
you,
wrong
they were
here?
torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
Somebody give me a clue here.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
Like, I feel like I'm
So
just barking up
that's why
completely the
he
wrong
was
tree,
so
but I don't
beat
know which
up.
tree.
What were they trying to find out
I don't
by
recognize
torturing
any of the
him?
trees.
Definitely the bomb's hiding place.
These trees are unfamiliar. I think
If
I'm in the
so,
wrong forest.
The suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence.
The way she says bomb sounds like
There's
bombs.
no way
That's
I'd
not
torture someone.
relevant, I don't think. Why did the killer have to torture Nagito? I mean, yes. Yes, they were. Stop asking that. We know
The
he
killer
was tortured.
didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up.
This is really
I'm
frustrating.
telling you,
I
they
hate,
were
I hate,
torturing
I hate
him.
I hate it when these things just don't appear to be remotely obvious.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
Want to kill voicing? No. Okay. The thing is, I
killer
agree
didn't
with
take
literally
that.
everyone
I'm
here,
telling you,
and
they
it
were
seems like it's
torturing
supposed to be
him.
trying to find some
The reason
disagreement.
Nagito's
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was. What were they trying to find? Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who this is making feel like an idiot. Yeah, or deny the torture because he keeps suggesting it isn't. Yeah, that's normally that last bit, the bit where Hajime says, "Oh, here's what I think about it," is supposed to be like the clue that prods you in the direction of the thing that you're supposed to go for, and he's like, "Are you sure this is torture?" Which suggests deny the torture, but like, there has been literally nothing up to this point that has suggested it was anything else. Much less any of the things that I've been given to work with here. It's not even like we're like, what is the cause of death? It's like, what are the cause of the wounds? Torture. We talked at great length, like, about how, like, oh, those wounds weren't intended to kill. Look at how many wounds there are, and they're not deadly wounds. They're just intended to inflict pain. It is torture. Can we take someone else's? Can we take someone else's arguments? What are the other arguments?
The killer didn't tape Nagito. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
Something
The
someone else
reason
say
Nagito's body was
contradicts
covered with
torture.
wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
That's what we gotta go for, right?
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
I don't think any of the things anyone says there contradicts torture. It's all completely irrelevant.
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
What's the Monokuma account then? Monokuma knew all along the bomb's fake, but he never revealed that fact to anyone. Try that.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
No. Okay.
Crap.
I don't know.
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth
I don't want
to
you to
shut
tell
him
me,
up.
but if you've got any clues
I'm
that you
telling
point me
you,
in the
they
right
were
direction, that'd be
torturing
very
him.
appreciated.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
Oh, that didn't work.
Crap! The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason
Duct
Nagito's
tape
body was
thing?
covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
Oh, okay.
No, that's wrong!
Okay. There was a little bit trial and error there.
But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything.
That also just seemed kind of at odds with what we're saying, but it was mentioned briefly at the start of the discussion in that bit. They were like, oh, what about the duct tape? And then just immediately forgot about it. And also Kazuichi seemed to be arguing that he was tortured because he had duct tape on him, whereas then we turn over and we're like, no, he wasn't tortured because he had duct tape. Ah. These guys better start explaining something.
If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like that.
I'm prepared.
Oh, Kazuichi.
Ah, I just realized it. It's a trap.
Trap?
Stupid Hajime. You got caught in that trap.
Stupid. Yeah, I'm pretty stupid. Oh no. Fine.
Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you'd obviously assume he couldn't, but that was the trap. They wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention, this is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location.
Oh,
Then, after they killed him, they duct taped his mouth shut. Whew, that was close, you guys. Thanks to me, you guys didn't get caught in the trap.
Yeah, they taped Nagito's mouth after getting information from him. True, that sounds reasonable, but, like, I think the specific information it has on duct tape is, like, that he sucked it in a little bit because he was screaming. Yeah, okay. So, he didn't get taped up after getting murdered.
Pay attention, this is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him...
Allow me to cut through those words!
That one was better. Handle that one a little bit better.
No, there's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
What did you say?
Who cares about the duct tape? We might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors.
We don't need to play a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
Why do you always side with Hajime? Do you have a crush on him or something?
You in elementary school or something?
You were with us when I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
The blood on his face came from his arm wounds, which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so he wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer?
If so, it's friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
Lady, you've literally threatened to punch Nagito in every single exchange you've had with him.
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
We can't think of any other reason.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse.
Yeah. And right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back.
Which means it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
The killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
Well, this bit was a bit more self-explanatory. That kind of like was pretty. That seemed fairly obvious when we were going, when it suddenly was like, hey, look at the whole Rube Goldberg thingy that's going on here. So, what was coming next? I think I could probably unravel.
Some kind of setup? Like,
I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect. Alrighty then. Let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
I mean, Nagato, yeah, Nagato was hated by everyone. That is true. Like, it's not a matter of who wants him dead. It's a matter of who wanted him tortured. Who wanted him to suffer before he died. Like, that's the level we're at. It's not merely like, this guy is threatening all our lives with his insane plans, can we please have him out of the equation, and also stop, like, screwing with everyone's brains on a daily basis. But, like, there's that, and then there's, we're going to tie you to the floor and stab your legs repeatedly with a knife, and then your hand, and then cut you a bit, and then dangle a spear over you in an elaborate Rube Goldberg death thing.
Damn right it is!
The reason for the fire, huh? Alright, we need to clear that up first. Somebody set a bunch of things up in front of the doorway in a domino stack that knocked over a flame at the end of the stack, which hit the curtain, which went up in flames, and they'd also, like, screwed with the fire extinguishers. Clear? Alright, next bit. It's gonna be either the oil lights or the Monokuma panels we need.
The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
The killer used some kind of setup and lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
they probably just threw the lighter.
Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
Really
if they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door caused.
Yep, that's the one.
I agree with that. I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
Just as I thought, it was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan!
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line.
I mean, looking at the who are likely to do that, I mean, my suspicions are leaning towards Kazuichi in all this, just more from a metagamey perspective than anything else. Just like, I don't think it would be any of the others. Fuyuhiko with a Yakuza background, yeah, like Yakuza, torture, yeah, there's links. There's links there. But he has also kind of got this whole sort of reformed thing from his whole episode going on earlier. He's a better guy now than he used to be. He's chilled out a bit. I don't think he's necessarily going to stab someone in the leg 20 times for no reason. Akane threatened to hurt him extensively at great length on many occasions, but she doesn't like weapons, and she would much more likely just to beat the snot out of him. Sonya, yeah, probably no. Chiaki, yeah, probably no. Renounced Darkness. That was a good Warlock spell, yes. Well, fun one. Not necessarily a good one, but a fun one. Yeah, there's not a lot of good options here. We need more information. We need to go deeper.
Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second.
Of course, she made a diagram of it all. That would have been useful to see that before it became relevant, just so that we could get a feel for the whole thing, but hey. Mostly the specific layout of the pillars and everything at the back is that going to play into things later? Maybe? Also something I kind of hadn't really appreciated until this diagram. Yeah, 3 of those ropes are attached to 3 pillars. There's one other rope that was burned off around his right arm that must presumably have been attached to that pillar. So something has gone down around him and around that pillar and that arm that has severed through burning the rope there, but the fire in the warehouse should never have gotten that close, so there's something interesting going on there. Hajime did it, I just completely forgot. The player was entirely responsible, but we have no recollection whatsoever.
And from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
There's one other thing to hide the effects. Is the music something to do with it? Oh yeah, I guess the music would have drowned out any noise of that going over. Yeah, it's probably that, right?
I see! You're talking about the MP3 player, right?
My initial thought, I hadn't even considered the noise of the dominoes. I thought the music was, principally to sort of mask the whole torture, murder, screaming, messy, noisy, torture-y, execute-y death thing. That bit,
That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside. Within that darkness, a loud hymnal blared throughout the warehouse at full volume. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does Nagito like listening to this depressing crap? No, I'm not talking about the music. As if on cue, it suddenly started.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
It's fine. I'll open it slowly. No, that's not the problem. Seriously, it'll be fine. With those words, Akane brushed off everyone's warnings and slowly opened the door to the warehouse. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Huh? It's not opening? Was the clatter of the door or the clatter of the dominoes? Don't know. Is there something blocking the door? I can barely open it. I knew it. It's a trap. Seriously, just stop it, okay? Didn't I tell you it'll be fine? I just gotta use a little more force. What happened to opening it slowly? Akane ignored that protest and with a mighty kick the door flew open.
Ah, so the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter. Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
Oh dear, no, there's more to it.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
That door was the only entrance to the warehouse. The problem Chiaki's talking about is it's a locked room puzzle. The killer couldn't have left.
I see!
Which
The
adds
panel
credence
was
to the
so
idea.
close to the door that it could barely be opened.
Adds credence to the idea that Nagato tortured himself. Ah! That's what I said earlier, and I'm going to stand by it. It was a self-torture and self-Rube Goldberg-y murdery thing, which was designed just to create hope, probably. Like, at this point I wouldn't put it past this guy. Like, he would probably torture himself to death in the name of hope, right?
The killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used. You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
Huh?
You don't mean...
But if that's true, this murder...
Hajime? What do you mean?
Is this my ridiculously stupid theory? Are you actually implying that that was true? The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse, there's only one person who could have done that. Oh my god, it actually is straight up implying... Isn't it? Isn't it?
This is my answer!
Yeah it is.
What if it was Nagito?
Holy stupid friggin' crap. Oh. This was sort of ish foreshadowed in the last chapter, I suppose, when they were like, hey, you know, what about a suicide? The suicide happened in the last game, remember? Do you remember the suicide last time around? What if there was a suicide this time? Yeah, I mean, I was aware of the reason you could pick the dead was because suicide, because that literally happened in Danganronpa 1, so... that wasn't particularly novel in this stage. I was like, yeah, I know why you can pick dead people. I mean, we're like... I know I've been here like 40 minutes, but we're like really 10 minutes into the trial. I've just like dragged it out with incompetence. So we're like 10 minutes into the trial, you know, so it clearly wasn't Nagito, ultimately, but Nagito seems to, on the surface, appears to be weirdly complicit in this.
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Huh?
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
I mean, when I said he might actually do something like that because he's so friggin' crazy, that was just supposed to be stupid, wild, exotic speculation. Ugh, this game! Your message got filtered because, if you insult anyone, even if it's a character, I think YouTube tends to assume that, like, you're insulting the streamer, and they're not big on that. I think it's the same reason die gets filtered, because YouTube, I think, thinks the worst of their audience, and they assume that if you use the word die in chat, they assume you're telling the streamer to go and die, or something similar. Not like, isn't this an interesting and complex murder mystery? I wonder who will be the next character to die. No one could ever be possibly discussing that on the old YouTubes.
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yes, you can be a titty. It's okay, I did approve your message. Like, if you're actually, like, spoilerific or abusive or something, I will, like, banhammer you hard. But, like, most of the time I will approve whatever you, like, type in chat, even if YouTube's a bit iffy about it. But, yep. we have well established that YouTube is pretty okay with titties. Especially titty typhoons.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Holy shit.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
Like you said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something. Touch wound, burned rope. I feel like if anything's been overlooked, it would be the burned rope.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
If our assumption that Nagito committed suicide is correct, Nagito should have tied himself up too. That's okay, right?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
I assume the implication there is that he...
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
I don't know what take off was about, but... the implication is that there must be somebody else involved here.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
What about the Monokuma plushie? Is the Monokuma plushie relevant yet? No, I think is what we're going to go with on that one. Burned rope. Rope tied to Nagito's arm burned off. The sleeve looked clean. Front tail. Okay, yeah. I'm sure that one also works well for YouTube's old euphemistic systems. Amazing. You guys are coming up with all sorts of incredible new language due to these streams. I hope you're appreciating this. Like, you're having to learn to use language in ways you never thought possible. You're having to call people front tails and titties and whatnots. Burned rope seems to be the only thing that really jumps out at me, but where you use it, I don't know.
Tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth?
No. Wait, what? That seemed to speed up when I press slow down.
Or if you use your
what the
front
heck?
tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but
Am I supposed to use
tying
burned
both
rope to
arms
imply
would be
that he
impossible.
wasn't fully tied up? Is it? I think it could be.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front...
Dirty joke! Is
Could be
that a
that
dirty
first
joke?
one. Where he says he was tied up. It was like, well, actually, he wasn't fully tied up. He was only 3/4 tied up.
To actually tie up your own arm...
Yeah, that was it.
No,
okay.
that's wrong!
Hey, we found something else YouTube doesn't like. They don't like weird emojis.
Isn't that premise flawed?
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
Proof of the bent rope on Nagato's right arm. Here's a trap. Here's his sleeve.
I see! Take a close look at his right sleeve.
How would he stab his hand even if it was free? If the art is accurate? It would... You guys are like... I'm gonna need a mod just to like deal with you guys and you're posting weird crap today, I think, at some point. Ryota, come to me! I require your banhammer privileges. Also, that emoji's gross. Don't do that. Yeah, there's some interesting logistics here that we're just gonna have to like unravel, I suppose.
Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural. That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was...
Yeah, that should be the case.
Whoops, I skipped that. He was able to move it freely, right?
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
I'll take you up on that one later.
Akane! You should not give it away for free! Make sure they pay you first!
Wow, okay. Learning interesting things about Sonya we never knew before. Interesting.
That's definitely wrong.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito. I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know?
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand. Ah, that much is obvious.
Hajime, you tricked me! Give me back that Benjamin!
Not only did she try to charge me, now she wants the money back. The money that I didn't even pay her.
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it!
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest.
A way to stab yourself in the right hand, using only your right hand. It's okay, there's definitely an answer for this. Torture wounds, burn roofs, survival knife, blood on girder? Blood on girder. Blood on girder, a thing. Oh no.
Even if Nagito's...
Hang about. Let's like, stop and think about that one for a moment. There was blood on the girder, which I thought was related to the rope on the spear. Because it would have been about the same size, so it seemed like the rope was dangling behind the girder when something splattered. Faint red line on the ceiling girder inside the goods warehouse. Either that or the rope was hanging... Oh, unless the rope was already covered in blood when it was like bouncing over it, and as it slid down over the girder, something tipped the weight at some point, and it left a bloody trail behind as it went. How that's relevant to what we're currently discussing, I can't quite fathom. Is this the final trial? Is it the final trial? I thought there was like another bit. Is there not? I mean, I'm also assuming that the game plays out almost exactly the same as Danganronpa 1, which is probably a mistake, so... I thought there were 6 chapters in... I just assumed there was a standard format, a 6-chapter format, and we're on chapter 5, so I was like, hang on, there should be more to this than this, right? He threw the knife into the air and had it drop blade down into his hand. Yes, he was actually the ultimate knife thrower. secret powers. Whew. Okay, let's see what everyone has to say then.
How could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall,
yep, knife throwing.
could he stab
Called
his
it.
hand that way?
I didn't call it, you guys called
Is
it.
he a throwing knife expert?
He is, ultimate knife thrower. Secret power.
Maybe he propped the knife somehow and slammed his right hand down on it?
Propped it onto what?
If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right hand.
I love that one of the white noses was still just, give me back that Benjamin. If Nagato could only use his right hand to stab himself in that palm, how did he do it? I mean, if he propped something up before he tied the rest of him up, and then did it, like, it's just the order of things is important here. Also, high heartbeat.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free,
I think
how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
Prop, maybe?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
Ah, no. Osugi! Okay, we don't agree with that. You think you propped the knife too? Yeah, look, you're like, look, you're basically Kyoko. You're always right. Gotta agree with you on these things, right? Well, you prop it with the girder, obviously.
It's wrong?
Okay, never mind.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free,
Propped it on the plushie?
how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand?
Hang on. The plushie could be relevant. I know the plushie looks like he got speared, but what he actually did was stab the plushie up through the underside, stab the knife up through the underside of the plushie, set the plushie down, tied himself up, and then punched the plushie really hard, you know, open-handedly. So it was like, boom, plushie squishes, knife goes through plushie, into hand, ta-da, knife in hand. That would, I grant you, pin the plushie to his hand, which would be a problem, and completely invalidates my theory. Damn it. Damn it! I didn't think that one through.
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
With the plushie! Oh god, it was the
agree with
plushie.
that.
Alrighty.
The life-sized Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach.
It stood to reason that Chiaki was right, because she's always right. So it's like, I feel like I probably should be agreeing with her on stuff. If she's suggesting something, she's probably got something figured out there.
He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it.
Okay, so the hole was formed before the blood was splattered everywhere. See, my assumption had been up to this point that it was like a roughly simultaneous kind of affair. Nothing could be as ridiculous as swimsuit gravel. I don't know. I'm not going to. I should just not expect anything to make sense at this point. Like, I didn't expect that this ridiculously elaborate torture setup would be a suicide at this stage either. So you know, torture suicide is a pretty ridiculous concept. Swimsuit gravel looking pretty sane by comparison here.
If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
So ultimately, how did the plushie come to be quite so far away from him anyway? Like, surely if he did that after he was tied up, the plushie should have been literally right next to him, though.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something.
A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
Like, what did he have remaining to, like, actually fling plushies with? 3 limbs were tied down and the other one had a knife literally through it. I mean, I guess there's some scope for using that hand because it is still free, but, you know, difficulties. There would be difficulties.
So what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem. The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right?
Rube Goldberg spear. This is what I'm saying. This is what I've been saying since last week.
If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito. If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Phrasing.
I'm sorry. I didn't catch all that.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Say it one more time. I need to record it. For reasons.
Hey, bastard, you better cut it out!
Like she said, in that condition, it's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear. It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stabbed into your right hand while your left hand is tied up.
So you're saying it's impossible?
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else. I also agree with that. To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right? But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right? Same goes for this time, too.
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone. If you even think about doing anything, I have a plan of my own.
Monome's sassing me!
But it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. This might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
Then are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone. No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
I also want to believe that there's no killer, but suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible.
She's got it figured out. Just agree with everything Chiaki says.
I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
What kind of way?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. That's how we made it this far up till now. Everyone working together.
I skipped a line, sorry. She's right, we made it through several ordeals up till now by doing that. Then, even now...
Alright, let's do this.
Alright, let's do this. I was really concerned they were about to go to the, like, intermission there, and I was like, God damn, we've only been here an hour. Okay, blood on left hand? What was the significance of blood on left hand? Remind me of that one. Blood was splattered on the palm of Nux. Oh, right, yes. The why has he not got blood on his palm bits? Right. Could well be relevant.
Let's work together and think this through. When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand. If that's the case, the only other way is...
He used his teeth? Or maybe he used his front tail.
God damn it.
I know guys have tails that get hard when they're grabbed.
What are you saying?
A blushing Miss Sonia is freaking awesome!
I mean... If he hadn't been gagged, actually, I would kind of say Akane's plan actually doesn't sound crazy unreasonable. No, I'm gonna agree with you guys when you say everyone likes Chiaki. Everyone likes Chiaki. I'm not come across obsessed Nagato fans though. Like Nagato's just no. Yeah, I mean, like the whole ropey speary thing. You hold the rope with your teeth. Somehow manage to stab yourself in the hand, throw a plushie away with a hand that's got a knife in it, and then let go of the spear with your teeth and impale yourself. It's doable, but he was gagged, so no. Even if his arms and legs were tied up, there's no doubt he used some part of his body. I think it was the hand. There was a bit we could disagree with, wasn't there?
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through. When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
Ah, crap, get out of here. There we go, that's what I wanted.
No, that's wrong!
Good old slow-mo.
Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left hand.
Why? I mean, his left hand was tied up, you know?
But there was something off about his left hand. The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange? He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered, that's as far as it reached, right?
That settles the description of that bloodstain, but it's not the only unnatural bloodstain. Look, there's blood on the back of his hand, around the middle joints of his fingers.
Oh, right, that blood is like entirely consistent with him holding on to something, isn't it? Because if he had his palm like clenched in a fist, the blood, the bits of the fingers displayed there would cover his palm up, wouldn't they? I'm literally just like staring at my own hand going, oh, I have learned a thing about hands today. Like, yep, that makes sense. Right, yeah, no, like I didn't quite clock on that before, but yeah, that totally makes sense. So he was holding something when the blood splattered. He only opened his hand after the blood splatter? Kind of weird. I'm not sure where that goes.
Like you said, it looks like an unnatural bloodstain, but what's wrong with that?
Because, I mean, if he was, like, holding the rope for the spear with his left hand, then that bloodstain wouldn't have occurred, because he would have had to have opened his hand in order to drop the spear. But then there's also the bit of the blood missing on the rope as well, which would suggest that that hand was what he was using to hold the rope with. I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakthrough here. So he was holding the rope of the spear with his hand, right? But he was also still holding the rope of the spear when he got stabbed? And only let go of the rope of the spear after the stab? Well, that doesn't add up. No, I'm not. There's an element of this missing. I don't know what.
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit.
Oh no, that sounds like a logic dive.
If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand, what was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
It was closed. I've just been over this at great length. It was gripping.
I see! When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his palm and the back of his hand.
I feel like this has something to do with the stripe of blood on the girder as well. Seemed like the rope went over the girder somehow, and that's how it left a blood trail like that. But then that sort of implies the blood is already on the rope when it went over. So somehow the rope goes over the girder. He holds onto the rope goes over the girder, stabs him in the chest, and then he lets go of it? That doesn't, like, no. Physics don't work like that. Okay, Repto, thanks for hanging out. We'll see if I make any progress here. There will be a VOD later anyway. You can catch up with it.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
God damn it, you're obsessed, lady.
Perish the thought! He was obviously grabbing the spear! Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild. He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
Oh, but there's the... Oh, shoot, I hadn't thought about it. There's also the wound on the arm. So... this is ludicrously complex. So he was holding onto the rope that was the spear, that attached to the spear, and something has wounded his arm, causing him to lose the strength in that arm that was keeping him from dying. Presumably some sort of survival instinct kept him from letting go of that, but when he got slashed in the arm there, that would have... Maybe? Would that have splattered the arm? Is the blood splatter on his hand from his arm or from his chest? I think it must be from his arm, right? Because the blood splatter on his chest doesn't quite go that far. Not that the one on his arm appears to go that far either, to be honest, but... If somehow, some way, shape or form he got stabbed in the arm, that would cause him to lose the strength in his left hand, which would let go of the rope, causing the spear to fall and for him to murder himself. Jeez.
But even if he held the spear with his tied-up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab himself.
No, the rope was not looped around the girder when they found him. It was, like you just saw in that picture, it was laid on the floor. You saw the blood splatter, the blood stripe on the girder. I can show you that one. That's, we got a whole truth bullet thing. So, yeah, the rope... Spear of Gungnir looked like that. Spear sticking in chest, rope is attached to end of spear, curls around the floor a bit and has a weight on the end of it, and there is a little stripe on the near the end, near the where the weight is on the rope, that does not have any blood on it for some weird reason. And then up on the ceiling, yeah, the girder in the ceiling has that blood stripe on it, but the rope, yeah, like I said, the rope was on the floor. That stripe is up there. Somehow some blood went up that high at some stage. So presumably the rope was round that. Seems like a reasonable assumption to make. Unless, like, just some errant spurt of blood from his chest just went straight up, painted a neat, you know, vertical stripe straight up the girder, and that's all she wrote. Just a lot of force in that whole arterial blood thing going on, maybe. I don't think that's likely. But, anyway, let's see where they go with this. That's right, that's
Hey, Chiaki, what do you think? Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle. Just like fixing an old TV.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Huh? Really?
Yeah, like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear, I think. However, what's important is what section of the spear he was gripping.
The rope?
I see!
Yeah. Got that bit figured out.
Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding on to the cord.
Still not figure... Like, yeah, we got that bit. It's like the rest of the logistics. That's what I need to know about.
There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Ah, you're right. So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh? And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
Yeah, so that's how that's set up there. That makes a lot of sense.
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around and stabbed himself, right?
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides. Right, Chiaki? I am sorry. Of course this mystery will not be solved that easily.
Nagato is gripping the cord extending from the butt of the spear with his left hand. But from there, how would he stab himself in the stomach with the spear?
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time?
At a time like this, how about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
It's a good plan. Well tried and true, yeah. I've used that plan on many occasions.
That's a long plan name.
One step at a time. What does that mean?
Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled Nagito.
How it was positioned.
Nagito was facing up, the spear was stabbed through his stomach, so if it's just before that... That's it. Could it be? The state of the spear and the fact that Nagito was holding the tip of the cord attachment. If I put those together and think about it, we're gonna get a Hangman's Gambit. Ugh. I should be able to figure out where the spear was and what state it was before it stabbed Nagito. And I need to find out exactly which particular specific phrase they're looking for. And I'm hoping to God the answer is dangling. Oh, it's a logic dive. Okay, that's not as bad. I can deal with a logic dive. Alright. Come on. Lots of gold rings and a Chaos Emerald at the end for the victor. And I hate these things that just pop up in front of you. God damn it. Alright, question 1. Where was the spear just before it impaled Nagito? It was above Nagito. That much. If that's wrong, I'm going to be a very angry man. Okay, that's fine. Oh my god, those are new. Those are new! What the frig? We've literally never had these before. What the... Stop! Oh no! I'm losing life when I hit those as well, aren't I? Yeah, don't just throw those in the final level. What the heck? No, stop. This is supposed to be a logic dive, not a skill dive. Okay. Besides the spear, what else was above Nagito? Ceiling girder. There's all things I kind of figured out already, so I'm okay with this. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. Oh no, 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 they turn around. I expect them to go all the way to the edge, but they don't. Do they just sort of home in on you? No, no, not quite. That one's moving erratically. Stop being erratic. Stop. Hate. All my hate. I hate logic dives, I really do. Question 3. Which item connects both the spear and the ceiling girder? The spear's cord? Congratulate. Oh god, is there a fourth one? Don't tell me there's a fourth one. Okay, that's okay. Whew. Chaos Emerald get. Woof.
It's all coming together.
I mean, that bit, I had that bit before the logic dive. Jeez.
The spear impaled Nagito as he was laying face up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
Perpendicular? In the middle of the air?
If Nagito did that all by himself, did he have some sort of ESP?
Who's also the ultimate telekinetic.
That'd be awesome, but he probably used the ceiling girder directly above him.
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder, and using that as a support, he hoisted the spear directly above him. And if Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
The diagram neatly explaining the bloodstain on there. Just nothing quite still yet actually explaining the bloodstain on the rope and hand. Also, like, just occurred to me, is this actually genuinely, totally, honest to goodness, the last bit of the game? Are we, like, on the final leg here? Because if so, I feel like I should my title to the live stream should be mildly more clickbaity than that. Clearly, the record attendance shows that people are like, oh my god, he's on the final thing, maybe? People who know what's happening, and everyone's come out to see how I struggle with the final mystery. But, if it is the last one, I'd kind of like to... I don't know, I've just been approaching this with a very sort of laid-back, sort of, let's just go through the motions of doing a trial kind of attitude. But it's like, if this is like... Oh, it's the last regular trial. Okay, so there is more to it. Okay. If I was literally about to get to the end of the game, I was like, I feel like I need more hype behind this. Okay. Right, so we should be able to wrap up the last quote-unquote regular trial this week. Then I have no idea how long sort of the end of the game, such as it might be in whatever form it might take, will take. I feel like a long live stream is in order for that, but if it's going to be like another 10 hours, then as we've established, that's not something I can do.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling. So, how about it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.
Are you serious? He really committed suicide? Like that?
He probably chose that spear so he could commit suicide like that. If someone else did this, there's no reason they'd go to all this trouble just to kill someone with a spear.
I agree. When I was investigating this case, I kept thinking over and over how strange it was. Why did the killer use the knife and the spear so differently?
So you're saying he needed to use that spear to pull off his trick?
Then, this is for real? He really committed suicide? Every single wound on his body. That was all him?
Doesn't entirely explain why he felt the need to stab himself in the legs a squillion times. That bit's really not been dealt with.
He did all that while he was gripping a spear? That spear should not have stabbed Nagito until the very end.
Okay, so judging... Well, unless this picture is intended to be an entirely hypothetical... So he's, like... I don't know. He tied himself up, hung onto the spear, cut his arm... for, I don't know what, just to reduce his strength and to induce blood loss, maybe? Stabbed himself repeatedly in the legs, also maybe to induce further blood loss. Impaled his hand, and then waited to bleed until he passed out from blood loss, at which point his arm went slack and dropped the spear. Is that where this is going? Or is the legs just for funsies because he was completely and utterly nutso? There are vital arteries in the legs around that area. Yeah, I think there are. But there are, and also, like, are there not fairly major sort of circulatory passageways in the arm around that area as well, are there not? Whether arteries or veins, I'm not sure what, but there's big ones in your arm as well, aren't there?
Which means Nagito wounded himself while he was gripping that spear, right?
As long as the blood comes out, I guess it all does the same job.
Did he put the duct tape on his mouth, too?
He probably covered his own mouth so we wouldn't hear him screaming in pain.
Did he need to go that far? That's beyond crazy! Why would he do that to himself?
He was probably trying to get us to make a mistake. By committing a suicide that looked like a murder, he was trying to steer us toward the wrong answer. His goal was to get us all executed.
And that's why he stabbed himself over and over again?
No, his goal wasn't to get everyone executed. His goal was to drive everyone close to being executed in order that they would feel tremendous despair so that they would feel even greater hope. Probably, is, I guess, like, yeah. Arteries are under more pressure, so they bleed out pretty quickly. Yes, well, arteries are just, like, directly pumped out of the heart, so, yeah. I mean, like, isn't, you know, I feel like there's a, you know, it's a zero-sum game. Blood goes out of heart, blood goes into heart. So, surely, all in all, blood coming back into heart should equal blood coming out of heart, otherwise something is fundamentally wrong. I don't see why, veins couldn't function as similar, way, but yeah, no. I don't know, my biology is a weak area for me. I know the fundamentals, but like, that's about it. You could have done the wounds shallow to avoid the arteries. Maybe, but I mean, the theory we were going for there is that he is trying to bleed out, so...
Did he want us to die that bad?
That's messed up. That's seriously so messed up.
Yeah, that's our Nagito.
Yep. You one cray kid. Gee, I'm starting to feel a little sympathetic toward him. How stupid of me. Completely underestimated his capacity for being completely nutso. A mind-boggling nutso-ness that threatens us even after he's died. That's the form his nutso took. Completely forgotten all about it until now. If he was here now, he'd probably be sneering at me.
However, there is one thing I still do not understand. He said he would reveal the traitor, right?
He was the traitor all along! Dun, dun, dun.
Whatever became of that?
He was probably planning to kill the traitor along with the rest of us.
So why did he not just do that in the first place?
Well, he did. If he killed himself and he was the traitor and then everybody got the thing wrong and everybody died, he would have killed the traitor along with everybody else. Everybody would have died. Is that why he was made such a big deal about the traitor all the way through? He's like, oh my god, who's the traitor? Who could it possibly be? Just as a diversion tactic because he was the traitor all along. That's just theory.
If he had no qualms with killing everyone, he did not have to cause a bomb scare to reveal the traitor.
I bet the bomb scare was part of the strategy behind this trick. He made us split up and search for a bomb so none of us would have an alibi. He created a scenario where any of us could have killed him.
He tried to make us doubt each other and tried to hide the truth behind his suicide.
Did he cause a bomb scare for that reason alone?
He's a fucking bastard who killed himself for his delusions of grandeur. It's not that unthinkable.
You are right, I suppose.
Yeah, it appears we've come to a conclusion. The bastard Nagito committed suicide. It was all done by him so we'd be executed.
That should be okay, right? Right?
No, because we haven't even got to an intimation now. I was told this trial was 4.5 hours long. There's another 3 hours of this, so it can't be this simple. It's another twice as long as we've already taken to figure this out. So the fact they're all sitting around congratulating themselves going, yep, we got it figured out. Oh, no, no, no. We ain't scratched the surface. Let me just go through some truth bullets here. What? Survival knife specifically has never come up. We never needed that for anything. I mean, we talked about it. We never actually needed that specifically for anything. Then we talked about that. We talked about that. Spear of Gungnir has kind of come up. That's been used. 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 We've not talked about Sonia's account, so that's presumably relevant. Monami's notebook. Relevant. The poison, we haven't talked about poison. We haven't even begun to talk about poison. That's poison. That is poison. That is, I think, probably to do with poison. Thin piece of aluminium paper. Is that probably not likely the cap for the poison or something? I would have imagined. Could be wrong, but I'm not sure. And, oh yeah, the whole Hope's Peak file thing. There's a few things. Not enough to, like, get 3 hours more worth trialing out of it, but, you know.
What? You're not satisfied yet?
No, I agree that Nagito killed himself, but I feel like there's something that doesn't make sense. It's probably just my imagination.
Why? I mean, I sort of understand what she's talking about. I don't think it's a mistake to assume that Nagito committed suicide, but why do I feel so uneasy about it? Because it's never that simple! Is it because we don't know who the traitor is? Or...
So what are you gonna do? Is it okay to proceed with the voting time?
No.
What do you think, Akane?
Well, there's no doubt Nagito's death was a suicide. Oh well, I guess my gut is wrong sometimes.
Your gut is wrong, like, every time.
You are right. It is not as though we can draw any other conclusion.
Then it's okay to end it here, huh?
Come on, Chiaki, save us all. Waiting for you, little Miss Deus Ex Machina.
That means we're done with this last class trial and we can leave this island, right? It's okay to reach such a happy ending, right?
Then it's okay? It's okay to say, you've decided on the killer?
Chucky, say something!
Understood. Then voting time.
No, hold on a sec.
Okay, Hajime.
Hold on. Why?
Sorry, just a little more. I want you guys to wait just a little more. I can't help but feel like there's still something we overlooked.
Like who the traitor is?
But the issue here is who killed Nagito, right? Even if we identify the traitor, the conclusion won't change.
That's true, but...
The mystery isn't just about who the traitor is.
Huh?
No matter how you look at it, Nagito's death is a suicide.
There's the
What?
explanation we needed.
I'm a little worried, you know? I'm worried about starting the voting time while there's still a mystery.
Hey, what do you mean it's not about who the traitor is? What kind of mystery is left?
There's just one thing that doesn't make sense, and it relates to Nagito's death. Plus, it's something even Nagito couldn't influence. He couldn't even tamper with the evidence for it.
Something related to Nagito's death, something that even he couldn't have messed with.
You're gonna keep going? And here I thought we were finally finished.
Something related to Nagito's death, a piece of evidence even he couldn't mess with. Even he couldn't mess with. I mean, he couldn't mess with Sonya's account. Or Monokuma's account, or... Well, he owned Monami's notebook, so it seems reasonable to assume he could have messed with those. I mean, he owned this, so he could totally have done this. I'm not sure about this one.
Crap!
No. Piece of evidence that Nagito couldn't tamper with. Monokuma's accounts? Like, other people's accounts are like one of the few things he didn't, like, touch at any stage.
Crap!
No? What does the Monokuma file say? Yes, he inflicted torture wounds. I'm not sure why the rope was burned. We never really established why the rope was burned. Is this an important factor?
Crap!
No. I'm gonna run out of life here. Playing the guessing game. Survival knife. Yeah, he was pretty well involved with that. Yes, the blood on his hand. Yes, the duct tape. Yes, the spear. Yes, the plushie. Yes, the blood. He set those up. He set that up. He set that up. It's not those.
Crap!
Nope, it's not that. Come on, trial and error. I'm gonna have to use a lot of bullet time to get this health back. The special poison.
Crap!
No, okay, we're not in poison territory. The gas mask and gloves? No. Peak Academy file?
Crap!
Like, I've been through most of this. The blood on the girder?
Crap!
No. Because, I mean, technically he didn't, like, do that. There's not many of these I have not tried now. Or that can't be safely eliminated, at any rate. Piece of blue paper and gas mask is... I feel like we're getting... I feel like I'm scraping a barrel with pieces of blue paper.
Crap!
I think I've only got one choice left. Or one chance left. I mean, there's no way he would have messed with the Monokuma file, I guess. But what does this tell us that we haven't already sort of established? Other than time of death?
I see!
It was! Okay.
Is it about the Monokuma file?
I don't see why that was up to me to spring that one out there. It's like, you could have just, you know, sort of let Chiaki continue talking about whatever it was she found. Why do I have to be the particular one to unravel that particular riddle? Yeah. Although, like, there's really only the time of death that's relevant in there, and I don't see that as being majorly relevant.
Yeah, that's it. Huh? There was something suspicious in the Monokuma file?
The victim is Nagato Komaeda. The body was discovered inside the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death believed to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there's a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand. The suspicious part of the Monokuma file that Chiaki is worried about is the only thing we haven't talked about. Please tell me this says time of death. Time of death. Time of death. Time of death. Of death makes sense. Scene of death? Oh god, is it scene? No. There are so many letters, oh my god. The time is not coming up into this at all. The thing. Those are fine. Yeah. I was thinking source, but that doesn't fit. Not S, so it's not scene of death. Oh, cause of death. I need to see. Oh, this is a mess. Oh shoot! Oh, can I get a do-over? C. Fine. Damn it. Where's all my A's at? Oh, I'm out. Okay. Yeah. I know, I failed. Blah, 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 blah. Yep, I'm the black hand. My majority vote is Hajime. Would you like to try? Yes.
We will never give up!
Cause of friggin' death. Also, I already figured it out, but do not tell me the answer. I have got it, but... like... you know what? Look, literally... You're in timeout. You don't get to say anything. I'm lenient there. I've been saying for months at this point, do not tell me the answer or I will ban you. Pretty tempted to ban you for that one. Do not tell me the answer to these things. Ruins everything for everyone. Right, give me some C's. C. Give me an A. Give me a U. Give me an E. Give me an S. Give me a cause. What the hell hit there? Oh, what hit there? The things are breaking again. I don't need that. I need an O. Where's my O's at? Just get out of here. No, and you. Oh, no. Where's an F? There's an F. Oh, this is horrifying. I hate these games. Get out of here. You, and you, and you, and you. There's a D. Give me that. And an E. I want an E. Get out of here. No. A. We got a T. Did I just break a T? I just broke a T not long ago, didn't I? Get out of here. T, 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 H, H, H.
I got it!
Hate Hangman's Gambit. No nice way to do
In
those.
this particular case's Monokuma file, there's no specific cause of death.
Not only is a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, laceration, blah blah blah. I literally just read all of this.
Isn't that weird? Until now, the files always specified the cause of death.
But the cause of death is obvious, is it not? The spear in Nagito's stomach. It is obvious just by looking at it that it was a cause of death.
Maybe it's not included if it's not important enough to write about.
Well, Monokuma,
I plead the fifth!
There he goes again! I'm so appalled that I have nothing to say.
But even during Gundam's case, and before during Mikan's case, the thing he purposely omitted from the Monokuma file was always the most important mystery in the case.
are you saying that applies this time too?
Hold on a sec. Then, are you saying there's more to Nagito's death? Are you suggesting, again, that his death wasn't a suicide?
You guys were the ones who said it was a suicide in the first place!
No, I don't think it's a mistake to call Nagito's death a suicide, but it's not just a suicide. Come to think of it, did Nagito really commit suicide just to get us all killed?
Are you sticking up for him?
That's not what I meant. I mean it in a bad sense.
Bad sense?
I just remembered that his malice always defied our expectations, and that concerns me. For example, would that malice just end here?
Huh?
Did Nagito's malice drive him to risk his life for a truth we'd reach this easily? I mean, this is Nagito we're talking about, you know?
How interesting! You sure do believe in Nagito, huh? Because you believe in his malice, you continue to suspect his malice. I see. I guess that's what passes for friendship these days.
What friendship?
What should we do, you guys? Should we proceed with the vote? I think we should keep going until everyone is satisfied, even if it's just to be safe.
You're right. We only get one chance to vote after all.
Just to be safe, huh? Guess I have no choice. If that's the case, I'll do my best to go along with it.
This is friggin' annoying. But if you guys say you're doing it, there's no way I'm gonna back out.
Hey, Monokuma! You heard us. The voting's gonna have to wait!
We've come this far. Let's work hard till the very end. If we work together, everything should be all right. That's what I believe.
Oh, splendid. You guys are so splendid right now. That's right. If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you.
If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you, huh? No, this feels like we're getting to an intermission. Now think about it, Nagito said the same thing. Absolute hope that can overcome any despair. He said he was yearning for that. Then, the situation we're in might be the thing that Nagito wanted all along. No, never mind. I'm probably overthinking it. Yeah, it's going to an intermission. every time they get, every time they get sort of ponderous, they're like, ooh, what could it all mean?
No!
Man, my heart was racing like crazy when I thought the voting time was gonna start, but, well, if you think about it rationally, there's no way it was gonna happen. We haven't done this bit yet. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Most of the players probably figured that out, too. You're the only one who didn't know. Isn't that right, Monami? Hey, how much longer are you planning to sulk? Let's get along, like we always do. Alright, you passed. Friendship is measured by how long you can stand the silence when you're all alone with someone else. So, Mon and me are the bestest of best friends. Don't say such stupid things. I hate you so much right now. Enough. Why do I have to be hated that much? Besides the fact that you snap at me like that, I don't trust you at all. Not even a teensy tiny 1 millimeter bit. How sad. Distrusting your friend is much more shameful than being betrayed by that friend, you know. We aren't even friends in the first place. And as your older brother, let me say this. You're not even my brother. It's sad to live a life without friendship. That's even sadder than watching a high school rom-com full of guys. But there may be some demands for that. I fell for it. I totally took the man bait. One of me really loves the man bait. Okay, pre-trial prep. Yeah, we always save the intermission, don't we?
I'm Monami. By now, there's nothing more for me to say.
Right, this is traditionally where I end things, and probably where I will end things today, unless someone is going to shout at me and tell me that I could definitely wrap this up before, say, like, midnight midnight at the absolute exceptional circumstances. Like, I can't wrap this up in under 2 hours, can I? Not only is the other half of the trial, which is probably at least as long again, if not longer, we also got the whole chapter denouement bit, and not with my speed. Alright, slightly, I mean, on the point, sure, but I feel like that could have been phrased better. Yeah, no, I'm not quick at getting through these. I'm partly waffling, partly incompetence. I know. So not having 2 hours available to me to do this in, and it being longer than 2 hours, I guess we'll wrap this up on Thursday then, as is tradition. And sorry to disappoint everybody who came out expecting to see the end of the game and me to find all the riddles and amazing things. No, this is where we stop today. So thank you for joining me. I hope you will be free. No, don't worry, it's cool. I know where my physical limitations lie, and it's definitely at Danganronpa. But yeah, if you hang around the channel at 9 PM GMT on Thursday evening, we should be able to get this wrapped up in under the 3.5 hours I typically allot to try and get streams wrapped up in. I think that's right. Unless someone's about to say the second half of this trial, so yeah, it's like 5 hours long. Don't tell me that. Please don't tell me that. And yes, I will have a super clickbaity title for Thursday. It will... I don't know. I'm not big on clickbaity titles, but I'm sure I can make it. I'm sure I can zhuzh it up a bit. Whilst you're all here, go check out my video that I put out on the channel yesterday, which is my gaming awards for 2017, which is all my favourite video games of 2017, including my Game of the Year. A bunch of you will probably already know what that is, just by how much I gushed about it all year, but, you know, go watch that video. It's 25 minutes of me ranting about wonderful video games, and, if you have not played any of those video games, you should probably also go and play those video games yourself, because they are wonderful. Go check that video out. If I could, I would, like, link it in the video, but, like, annotations and stuff aren't even a thing anymore, so I don't even know how I would do that. I could link it in the chat, but that's faffy. Anyway, I'm going to go. I am actually dying to see the rest of this trial, I really am, but if I can't get it done in under 2 hours, then I'm just going to have to stop halfway through the trial, and ain't nobody want that. Is my attitude that I've always taken. I hate leaving, like, it feels like a short stream, and I hate doing short streams, and I hate leaving a trial unfinished, but I'm not going to get it done in time, so I'm just going to have to go. I'm sorry to myself, as well as you guys, for leaving you wanting more, but there's nothing the world loves more than a cliffhanger, right? I will see you on Thursday, right? You guys going to come out for this on Thursday? We're going to finish the final trial of the game. Oh my god, it's the final one. It's the ending of the game, right? Or maybe not, but should be good. Right. Thank you once again for being here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all that you do for me. You do so much for me, you guys. You mean so much to me. Follow me on Twitter. Make sure you get the announcements so you find out when the thing's happening. Click the little alarm next to the subscription thing so you'll get a thing when I'm streaming. I think that's how that one works. I've never tried it. I think that's how it works. And also, you know, join the Discord so you also get notifications. Get triple notified, guys. You need triple notifications so that you absolutely get to see the final trial of the game. You wouldn't want to miss it. Right, I'm definitely going to go. I'm going to go and I'm going to play one of my favorite games of the year. You'll have to find out which one when you watch my video, but I'm going to go play Pyre. Because I haven't finished that game and it's great, but it's on my list. Go find out where it lies on my list. See you later.